This just in, I've got four fantastic movies to recommend from the major streaming services, and they're all based on true stories. Hello, welcome back to John's Comics with Kids. This is my weekly video looking at the major streaming services and giving you recommendations you can add to your watch list. Today, we're looking at specifically movies with a true story at the root of them, and we're going to start over on Hulu with Ford v. Ferrari. I think this movie is fantastic. James Mangold, obviously a phenomenal filmmaker who's done some of the Wolverine movies as well as just so many great movies like Walk the Line. In this case, he's looking at the fantastic race with Ford versus Ferrari regarding, can Ford best Ferrari in their home track at Le Mans? This has an amazing performance from Matt Damon, but more than that, it's the Christian Bale performance for me that really is at the root of this. He plays Ken Miles, a British racer who really has a knack for getting under people's skin. This might be my favorite Christian Bale performance. He just absolutely steals every scene he's in. There's a lot of other great actors in this. I don't want to make it just seem like it's those two gentlemen, but they are obviously at the highlight of this. Does the movie take some liberties with what really happened? Sure, a little bit, but nothing that doesn't like detract from the story in some way. The story is at the core of this. It really works. And for me, I was a whole section of history with the history of Ford Motor Company that I didn't even know. And it was beautifully rendered. A lot of great stuff connected to like a father-son relationship and really people trying to be the best that they could possibly be. So this was a really entertaining movie. And if you haven't seen it, I'm not a car racing fan, but this definitely hooked me. But then let's jump over to Amazon. Amazon's got a slightly heavier, but also very funny movie called The Big Sick. Kumail Nanjiani and his wife, Emily Gordon, wrote this about the way that they sort of met, fell in love, and their unusual journey. It involved them on a very awkward first few dates, and then her having a very serious medical emergency where she was in a coma. And their relationship was kind of in question, and he had to meet her parents for the first time at the hospital, and it became this very unusual situation. Everything obviously worked out. They ended up getting married, and I'm not trying to ruin anything for you because they both wrote the movie together. What is so funny about it is you get to see a comedian who's not used to having to deal with heavy emotions, try to balance real life with work. And this relationship is beautifully captured. Kumail Nanjiani is an incredibly funny guy, but you throw in Ray Romano, Holly Hunter, really just great acting all around. This is a very fun, entertaining movie with a real heart to it. And it seems to be almost completely true. There's a couple of things that they bent just to make the love story a little more, tension filled, but it really is a strong movie all the way around. Let's jump over now to Netflix. Netflix has a movie that was nominated for several Oscars not too long ago called The Trial of the Chicago 7. This is about the 1968 Democratic National Convention where something real intense rioting broke out, all centered around the Vietnam War and the protesters feeling like they should have a stake or a say in sending soldiers to fight. The movie does a great job of capturing this unusual trial that clearly had heavy political implications and a judge who definitely was overstepping his bounds. Frank Langella plays the judge, and he is just wonderfully malicious all the way through. Lots of great performances, lots of great actors all the way in all the different parts. But really, it's a movie about justice and how the people should have the power in a government, like in a democracy that we ideally live within. So the movie really, really strong. Sorkin wrote and directed it, and I think they took minor liberties, but for the most part is very true to what happened. And there's some shocking moments that if you haven't seen it, you'll be surprised that certain things happened in a court in our country. So really mind blowing. But over on Netflix, Trial of Chicago 7, highly recommend it. And then lastly, we've got HBO, and HBO has another movie about what it's like to be living with an illness. We've got 50-50 by Seth Rogen and his writing partner, Will Reiser. Will Reiser wrote this about his own experience going through cancer, and Seth Rogen is his best friend, and it was just about their relationship and how this really intense cancer diagnosis kind of impacted their friendship. The movie has lots of great performances as well. Angelica Houston has a really great small part as Will's mom, although I think they changed the character's name. They didn't name him Will Reiser. Obviously, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is good in everything, and he is wonderful here as well as sort of the straight man to what what Seth gets to do in this. Uh, Seth Rogen, obviously very funny. If you like his brand of humor, this is going to be something you shouldn't miss. And at the core of it, really just a very human story of the difficulties and challenges of going through cancer treatment. Now, I want to shout out Anna Kendrick. She's got a great performance as a therapist in the hospital trying to help this young man with his prognosis. So great movie, lots of performances that I think you'll enjoy. So there you go. Those are some of the recommendations you can add to your watch lists on the major streaming services. Shout out to my channel members. These are the homies that are making this work over on my channel here. Make sure I can keep running all these great live streams I do every week. So be sure to follow some of these awesome people if you have not. Some links are down below and you can check out what they're doing. Appreciate all of them for supporting me. And we'll see you guys back every single week with more recommendations for your watch lists.